Okay. I'm going to start recording. Welcome back to Business 101. So for those who just came in, take a look on the Moodle. You'll see a link to a YouTube video. I'm putting all of my videos for this class and all of my classes on YouTube this semester, just because I was struggling to get class videos up on Moodle on time. So it's just a lot easier with the YouTube studio, so that's what we'll do. And don't be surprised if you comment or if there are other people from other classes, other people commenting who aren't in our classes. I've already had that happen a few times. Hey, thanks for the information. I think you're wrong about this. Okay, so it's about you guys, right? It's not about other people, but they should be there and available. One of the topics we talked about was the POLCCA. What was the POLCCA? Planning, organizing, leading, communicating. And the last two go together. Where are they? Control and adjust. Control and adjust. So we're going to talk about POLCCA, and it's this repeated process of every day, every week, every year, every month, looking at how do we plan? What's the future look like? What's our goal? How do we increase our goal to the point where we can plan to get there? As a matter of fact, I'm going to challenge you with something. This is going to probably be your discussion forum question next week. Okay? Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I don't know. But here's the question. What is your plan for your life? Like, what's your goal, like 20 years from now? What do you want to do? If I can use the phrase, what do you want to be when you grow up? When you think about it, like, what do you want to be known for? I think I may have mentioned this. When you are retiring, you are in the reception line of people shaking your hand because there's no coronavirus. And they're saying, thank you so much for doing X. What is your X? What do you want to be known for? And then work backwards. So if I want to be known for that, how do I work backwards and get there? If I want to be known as, we talked about Who's Your Daddy Winery last time. If I want to be known for one of the greatest winery owners in Indiana, if that's my goal, how do I get there? Like how do I work backwards? Do I start competing in competitions? Do I start trying different wines? Do I start my own business? Do I hire people? Do I use specific grapes in a certain region? Do I use grapes from other regions? Why is all of our wines really sweet? Should I do more dry wines than sweet wines? Right? So all these things start coming to your mind. Like, I'm going to plan how to get there. How do I get there? And the same thing with the company. That's the plan. Right? Planning and organizing. Organizing what? What am I organizing? Resources. What are my resources? There were 4 of them. What were they? Capital. What is capital? Besides Indianapolis. Land. What is land? There it is, out there, right? My mom would say, go buy some land. God's not making anymore. Right? Price will always go up because land is limited. That's a resource. What else? Capital. What is capital? Okay. Give me a little bit more. Supplies. You guys want the lights on? No? Bright enough in here? Okay. Supplies. Capital. What is capital? Sounds like a fancy term, doesn't it? I've got capital. What does that mean? Their name begins with a capital letter. So it's got to be important. It actually has nothing to do with capital. What's capital? Yeah. Money. Money. Money is capital. Supplies are capital. What else? Stuff. This camera helps me get the service across. That's capital. The equipment, the machinery I use to build my products, to make my notebooks, to make my wine, whatever it is, that's capital. It's the stuff that's there. What else? Land. Entrepreneurs. Who are entrepreneurs? Give me a little bit more. People with ideas. What are these people doing? What?
I said working for you.
What's that called? People working for me are called what? Labor. So I've got land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs. What are the entrepreneurs doing? That is you. Hopefully. So what are you doing? What did we running business? What did we start this conversation with? The POLCCA. What are they doing? They're dancing the POLCCA. What are they organizing? The resources to meet the plan. So what are the resources for you for your personal vision? Right? If you think about that 20 years from now plan, 30 years from now plan, what are your resources? What do you have with you now? What do you need to get? If I want to have a storefront, I probably need to have land in a building. Building could be considered capital. Right? I probably need to go somewhere. If I'm going to have a window front for something, that's great. I went to a restaurant in California over the summer. It's called Gorilla Quesadilla. I thought it was fascinating. All they make is quesadillas, but fancy quesadillas. What's a fancy quesadilla like? Some sort of like pesto sauce associated with the chicken or the beef that you have. Think Chipotle on steroids. And here's the greatest part about it. There's no storefront. I mean, there is, but they have a little store, a small store, and I went to, we went to 3 of them. This little store, and they have just a table out front by the door. And they have a little sign that's in the window next to the table that says, here's what you can order. And that's it. So if you went in, all there was is just a kitchen. So how much capital do you need? If you were to make popsicles, right? So you have you ever made the homemade popsicles before? You take a lemonade or juice or something, you kind of pour it into the popsicle mold and then you put it in the freezer. If you were to do something like that, how much store space would you need? What's your capital? You probably need to refrigerate something, right? That's part of it. You need energy to do so. You probably want to have a cash register for people that pay cash, or you credit only. And if you're credit only, what do you need? How do you do credit cards? Why do you have a card reader, right? There's your capital. You're organizing your resources to meet your plan. My plan is I want to make $100,000 by the end of the month. So that's how that works. Leading. What is leading? What is leading? Leading whom? Let's put it up here. I'm going to lead who? Who am I leading? Probably these people, right? Who else am I leading? Customers. How am I leading customers? How would you lead a customer? You should shop at my business. Why? Because I'm going to give you value. And for those that haven't seen the video, we're talking about this. What is this? How do you define value? Is there a value in going to the AMC movie theater right now? Anybody see Tenet yet? Pretty good. Is there value? Why would you want to go to the movie theater? For what?
Entertainment.
Okay, entertainment. Well, why would you go for entertainment? Why not just stay home and watch Netflix? Or watch Disney Plus? I mean, Mulan just came out, right? Which, by the way, has anyone seen the new Mulan? It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's like not Disney at all. It's good, but it's just not Disney. So that's my opinion. You guys know different. So why would you go to why entertainment? Why would you go to the movie theater? You value it. You value it, right? Why would you go to the movie theater now, especially with COVID?
It hasn't been open.
It hasn't been open. Oh my goodness, it's cheaper. If you watch Mulan on Disney Plus, it's $30. Premier access. $30 is like going 4 people to the movie theater, or 3 people to the movie theater. Right? So we've got that going. We have 6 in our family, so it'd be cheaper if we just saw it on TV. But there's value in that. I haven't been in a while. Oh my goodness, do you remember what popcorn smells like at the movie theater? Do you remember getting those ridiculously huge drinks that don't fit in your cup holders in your car and trying to bring one home? Right? And you can get free refills. You know what that's like? Being in the giant dark room with your friends or family? You get to do it. What? There's value, there's benefit. It's more than the $40, more than the $30. But if I add to the cost the possibility of getting sick with coronavirus, which was true about 3 months ago, that cost goes up. I may not want to go. I'm concerned. right? So the benefit versus the cost. I think I mentioned my wedding band, right? So the benefit to me is priceless because it means more than just a piece of metal. But to you, it might be $10,000, and that's it. Right? So do you take it or not? Do you have one or not? So what's the value, the benefit or the cost? If something is value to you, the benefit is greater than the cost, whatever that thing is, whatever that experience is. If the cost is greater than the benefit, what happens? If the cost is greater than the benefit, you don't care. You get rid of it. It doesn't matter to you. It's not something I'm going to buy, not something not a service I'm going to use. Like how many of you have a law? I'm sorry, have a law. How many of you have a will right now? Last testament, will. Each pass away. Probably none of you, right? You're young. Why would you want that? When you hit 44, you're like, man, do I need to get one of those things? When you're 64, you probably want to have one. Just in case you know, no infighting with all the children. But still, like, there's that value thing, okay? We're going to lead. We're going to lead employees. We're going to lead customers. We're going to give them value. Shop at our location because it's either really cheap, the cost doesn't outweigh the benefit, something you're going to like. That's how we do. We market them. We say, hey, you'd be interested in coming to our place, whatever it is. Little Caesars pizza, $5.99. Right? And it's worked for how many decades? Domino's pizza, $5.99. How many people love Domino's pizza? My kids like can't get enough of it. So anyway, Papa John's pizza or wherever you go, right? So there's value while you participate in something. Who else do we lead? Employees, customers, who else? What's the other side of our customers? So we sell things to our customers. Where do we get stuff from? Suppliers. As I trip over the floor. How do we lead our suppliers? Hey, can I get X? Can I buy so many of these boxes? How many empty boxes do you think Amazon buys?
Two.
You probably make them, right? Kind of cheaper just to make them yourself. So how many do you think they make? Millions. How much bubble wrap do they use? And have you ever gotten a package from Amazon where the item is this big and the box is like this big?
Yes.
And you're like, how did I get this inside this? Why do you think they did that? Isn't that wasteful? Couldn't you just put this in a bag? So why do they do that? Goes back to the organizing thing. Hey, I got this empty box I don't know what to do with. Let's just stick something in there because we got it. I don't need to buy something new. Right? So you get some ridiculously sized box for something that's so tiny. And you get all excited because it's this huge box. Ever been there? You open it up, you're like, oh, that's it. Okay. What am I going to do with this box? Am I going to re-gift it to somebody? Most times we probably throw them out. So we lead our suppliers. How much do we need of something? Can we get it cheaper? Can we get it fine-tuned, tweaked, do this, whatever it is? Who are these people? How would we lead them? Who are they? Have you heard of stakeholders before? Investors? Who else? Do you know who stakeholders are? These three. Right? It's anybody who's interested in the success of your business. Would employees be interested in the success of your business? If they want a job, yeah. Would suppliers be interested in the success of your business? Of course. They want to continue to have business transactions, make money. Would customers be interested in your business success? How long does your warranty last? Company's not there anymore. Can you get a refund? Probably not. Right? Who else? Investors? Who else would be a stakeholder? Who else is interested in the success of your business? Or in some cases, the failure of your business? Competitor. Very good. How do you lead a competitor?
They're going to want to do the same tactics as you if you're doing good in your business.
Good. So how do I lead them?
Through marketing, sales.
Sometimes collaboration. Hey, you and I are against each other, but I've got this new idea for a holographic TV. You want to help me make it? Samsung, you interested? You get the rights to share for it for 18 months, and then you get it on your own. It happens in drugs all the time. They're doing it with their COVID tests, right? How do we work together to get something done? Because we can get it done faster. Share our resources. We got it. So we're gonna lead some competitors. Who else are our stakeholders? I used the example from the Daily Journal last week that in Whiteland, there are 350 acres of green space that are gonna be turned into a logistics parking hub. So a building with lots and lots of trucks. How do you feel about that? And we mentioned here, I don't know if it was this class or next, we talked about having a parking garage on campus. But it makes it easier if you just have a parking garage. Would you guys like a parking garage on campus? Pretty easy, right? You just park in the garage, walk down, take the elevator, go to class. Right? Or if you're not commuters, if you live here, come goodness, just park in the garage and go back to your dorm. Why would you be against the parking garage?
Tuition.
Raising tuition? Would you guys be willing to pay more money for a parking garage? Probably not. Right? You guys pay a lot of money. What it is. Why else? Why else would you be interested in not having a parking garage?
Takes up a lot of space.
Where would you put it? Let's just take out that library building. We don't really need that. Right? Just get rid of the damn, oh, there you go, the fitness center, the gymnasium, basketball pitch. Get rid of that. Why would we never get rid of that gymnasium?
This is the first.
Well, it's our history, right? We had some wonderful years, sporting event years, and it was there. Right? I heard when I first came here that the movie Hoosiers was actually going to be filmed here first, before it went to Butler for the last game. If you've ever been to Knightstown, you can see the original gymnasium. I've done that. I'm terrible at basketball, so I tried shooting a free throw. It was like 10 feet short. One of a mid-range thrower. Right? It was terrible, but the idea was that this has history. You never get rid of this. As a matter of fact, I put up a recommendation our first year here is, can we have more isometric machines and gym equipment in there? So students can practice on the sidelines. The students can go to student athletes and practice there, and then the other people can be sterilized. Other students. The answer was absolutely not. That's our gymnasium. Well, we don't really use it anymore. We're just for practice, right? But anyway, there's a history there. We would never do that. We'd get rid of green space here. So people would be against the idea. I mean, look how green it is. You look outside. Or maybe brownish yellow. Right? Can you imagine that being concrete? Dayton Mall would no longer be Dayton Lake. It's now a place that has scooters. Indianapolis scooters. No? Okay. So all these stakeholders, people that are concerned about your company. What if you owned a company in Franklin and they gave back the strawberries on the square? Here, free ice cream, free strawberries. Would that affect you? Of course. What if Benjamin's gave out free coffee? Would that affect you? That'd be nice. If you were a student. As a matter of fact, was it Festival County, Indiana, downtown? Was a Franklin College building last semester? Or 2 semesters ago, last year. It was called the Hive. And they actually were planning on opening up a sandwich shop there. For students, 20% off. Would you go? Normally, when it's not a COVID year, I take a marketing class and we go to Ann's restaurant one day. We talk about how Ann's markets. And what's interesting is they never really market their menu. So why do people know it so well? Because they rely on word of mouth. So have you been to Ann's restaurant? Is it good? Have you tried the pancakes? Have you tried the French toast? Excellent. And so it's one day a semester. If you guys are back in Business 361 while I'm teaching, I'll take you to Ann's one day. You get a free meal out of it. Who doesn't want that? Franklin College, right? But you get to see how they market and how they control that, and the community loves it. As a matter of fact, when we have the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which by the way is not lighting a Christmas tree, it's lighting all the trees in the square. So it's really a Christmas season trees lighting ceremony, right? But they're open at night. Why is Ann's open at night? They close at 2. So why are they open at night? Because the community loves it. Why not go on a cold night in December, watch the lights come on all over Franklin, and get hot chocolate? So it's awesome, right? It's just really amazing. So it gets people going. That's the stakeholders in the community interested. These are people who want to see this company succeed or fail. So that's part of the stakeholders are. So that's how we're going to be. What else? Communicate. How do you communicate? Do you communicate too much? How do you communicate? I'm talking right now. So how am I communicating? Even through this mask that keeps coming over my nose or away from my nose. How do I talk? How do you talk? You're going to convey an idea. talk about your favorite pizza. What's your favorite pizza brand?
I don't know, we were pizza, I think all my toppings on. I'll take
That's right, you were strange that way. Okay. If you had to buy pizza somewhere, where would you go?
Either Domino's or Parmesan.
Where did that thought come from?
What'd you say?
Where did that thought come from?
Because I like it. Those.
Where did it come from?
All brain.
Physically, your brain, right? Every time you guys talk, it comes from your brain. And then goes where? Here. Have you ever thought something and wanted to say something but you don't? Like, I can't believe this person's an idiot. And then realize, oh, you know, that would be bad. I shouldn't do that to my boss. Right? And you think, okay, so I'm not going to instant. Or if you're with a significant other, I'm from New Jersey, I'm in the land of sarcasm. It's hard to shut down and not say what I want to say. Or sometimes you say something that comes out completely wrong. Right? Like I was telling my wife about nobody eats like meat. And she's like, you let them say that in class? Of course. It's supposed to be fun. But like I realized shortly after the conversation, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Right? So there's this idea that's there. And then it comes into your mouth, it comes out. And then it gets communicated to whom? You! Anyone you're talking to. And then what happens after it gets communicated? They listen to it from their ears, right? And then where does it go?
Another brain.
To their brains. And do they interpret it? And do they always interpret what you say? Have you ever taught a new hire at a company or taught a friend how to do something? And they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, what don't you get? It's really easy. And like, I still don't understand. How do you not understand? Right, see problem number one. Why? Because they're misinterpreting what you're saying. When's the last time that's happened to you? When's the last time that happened to you this week? Somebody misinterpreted what you were saying. I had a woman on the phone yesterday. She said, no, sir, you're not hearing what I'm saying. I said, you're right, I'm not. Say it again. So they couldn't understand what she was saying. So this idea that we communicate that way. Can you communicate too much? Has anyone ever been marketed to too much? Yeah, it happens all the time, right? So I can be marketed too much, but not communicate too much. It's always good to know things are coming up. Control and adjust. We have a process. In my last class, I had a video of it on YouTube. We just talked about how to make s'mores. Oh, how do you make s'mores? Go to the supplies. Somebody said get ingredients. I said, what are the ingredients for s'mores? What are ingredients for s'mores? Chocolate, marshmallow, and mayonnaise. What? Yeah, mayonnaise makes the marshmallow cook faster. What? You have mayonnaise? Or here's another one. Here's a marshmallow, right? Where do you put the chocolate? In the marshmallow. What? Huh? They do make chocolate in marshmallow, so why don't you put your own in the marshmallow? You can do it in the inside with chocolate. Or somebody said, what about Nutella? What about Reese's peanut butter cups?
Those are good.
Cut a piece of it, cut it in half and then stick it in the marshmallow when you cook it. Whoa, revolutionary, right? Oh my gosh, I've never thought of that. What's it taste like? Depends if you like peanut butter. My wife and I thought peanut butter beer would be a great idea, and it wasn't. Like, this is really, no, it's not our cross. So there's all these ideas, like how do we go about making s'mores? And then how do you cook a marshmallow? Over a fire. Can you make it in the microwave? Can you cook it over the stovetop? Sure you can. Is it the same? What do you call the poker?
Fire stick.
A fire stick.
Hot dog stick.
Hot dog stick. I love it. Right? Do you use it? Do you reuse it after it's been used once? Can you put more than one marshmallow on it? Is it better to put more than one marshmallow on it? Oh, all these questions. Did you know making s'mores was so contentious? Right? And then how do you break the graham crackers? Hamburgers in half, right? Hamburger style and hot dog style. Have you know what I'm talking about? Hamburger style versus hot dog style? All right. So how do you cut it? Hamburger style? Chocolate. How do you use the chocolate on s'mores? What brand of chocolate? Ghirardelli?
Hershey's.
Hershey's. Can you use anything besides Hershey's? No. Why would you do that? That's crazy. How many squares would you use? They're not squares, they're rectangles. So how many rectangles did you use?
4.
4. 4? See? 4? Really? That's a lot of chocolate.
That's an Oak Valley marshmallow.
That's crazy, right?
And you gotta get the big marshmallow, not the small one. Oh, now some small, it's good.
So I'm going to use here, right? So there are 3 here. So if you overpower the marshmallow with 4 pieces of chocolate, how many pieces of chocolate should you use? Well, the last talk suggested that I use 2. So if I use 2 squares or rectangles, what do I do with this one?
Use it for the next person.
Use it for the next person or eat it, right? Are you allowed to eat chocolate when making s'mores?
No.
Some people say yes, some people say no. Why? Because you might need to make more s'mores. And then cook 2 marshmallows on the hot dog stick.
I'm about to go to the store and put them in the microwave.
You put them in the microwave. Does that taste the same? And here's another one. How much do you cook the marshmallow?
Let it catch on fire.
You let it catch on fire. I had
Yeah,
friends
you
on a
do.
camping trip that did this. They put marshmallows, they stuck the stick in the fire. They caught on fire, so they're actually glowing hot. And they said, here, catch this. And threw it. Right, not the whole stick, just the marshmallow. And I actually had a friend with the goal to say, he missed, it hit his face and it burned part of his face. He's like, dude, do it again. Like, what? Right? Or you get a nice golden brown color. You have any color on the outside. Will it be squishy on the inside anyway? Do you see how difficult this is? And this is just s'mores. Imagine making ramen noodles. Oh my goodness. When do you put the seasoning pack in? You drink the water. You not drink the water. You put hot sauce in. You put other vegetables in. How long should it be? You cook it in the microwave. You cook it on the stovetop. All this is hard, right? So organize, control, and adjust. Do something, change it a little bit. I cooked the marshmallow, it's too dark. I don't like it. Some people just don't like it being on fire, right? So it's too dark. I need to make a little bit less time, or I need not stick it directly in the fire, so just over the fire. You ever notice we all become like marshmallow experts when we make s'mores? No, you're not doing it right. Right? And you cook it and you get it, just sort of that's control and adjust. Control is here's my process, and I'm gonna follow it to the letter. You know what? That marshmallow is just a little too hot, it's a little too dark on the outside. I don't like my marshmallows crunchy. Let's try it this way instead. Adjust. I like my marshmallows, but how do you scoop the marshmallow onto the graham cracker and the chocolate? There's a process, isn't there? Like you hold the other piece of graham cracker and you just slide it off, stick it onto the s'more. Does that work? What if you accidentally drop the marshmallow? Well, it didn't work. Adjust. What do I do next time? Take it off with my fingers. You ever take the marshmallow off with your fingers? Does that work? Does it make your fingers sticky? So if you touch another person's s'mores, you'll stick your fingers. If you touch your new s'mores, you're going to make the second one, will stick your fingers. And so we have to bring wipes. Right? So we're going to do that. So you kind of have all these different ways of doing things. Control and adjust. Control is keep the process the way it is. Adjust it is to kind of tweak it a little bit to make it better. So we talked about POLCCA. Resources. We talked about resources and allotments. Remember that term, allotment? I'm going to organize my resources to be exactly the way I need them to be. So we just talked about that a little bit. Now the next two that's on the video. Let me erase this for a sec. Something called rich. And par. I think I mentioned these in class. What was par? I didn't mention in class, I mentioned on the video.
Prohibited,
Yeah.
sexual, rape, and life.
So our culture dictates what is prohibited, what you cannot do, what is acceptable, what you can do, and what is required, what you have to do. For example, has anybody done an ad drop form in the last week? If you do an ad drop form, what is that like? You gotta get a blue form. If you haven't done this yet, you will sometime in your 4 years. You gotta get a blue form. You gotta get signatures on that blue form. Your advisor has to sign it. Teacher has to sign it. Registration has to sign it, etc. Eventually, you're gonna have to do internships. Internships are gonna be the same thing. Here are 3 forms. You got to write out your goals. What do your goals look like? You got to measure them. How do you know you're going to meet the goals? How do you know you met one? You got all these signatures that go with the packet. It has to be refined and tweaked. That's required. It is required you do 10 classes. If you do not 10 classes, if you want 6 classes at a time, you get to say, you know, I don't know if you're serious about going to college. It's required you go to classes. Right? It's required. Acceptable. What is acceptable on campus? What's something that you can do that's acceptable?
Campus call.
Yeah. Okay. What else is acceptable? Oh, required. Here's one. Here's required. This semester. Familiar with this app? Campus Clear,
Yeah,
right? Little smiley faces and emojis.
good to go.
It's happy to see that I'm not going to class today. I get a thumbs up from an emoji. Right? Got to do it every day. It's required. You have to do it to be safe on campus. That was not something that was required last semester, but now it's here, right? You got to do it all the time. What's acceptable? Can you skateboard on campus? Right? Can you walk on campus? Can you jog around campus? Can you bring a dog on campus? Not if you don't live here, but if you're visiting, can you bring a dog on campus? Answer yes. Well, you couldn't after your dog. You can take the dog for a walk around here. That's acceptable. That's fine. People don't have a problem with that. And at Butler, you were encouraged to bring a dog because of the trip. The mascot is a blue door now. Right? Because the mascot was a dog. So that was acceptable. What is prohibited on campus? What's something you can't do?
Not wearing that.
Not wear a mask. What else is it prohibited on campus? What's something you just can't do on campus? Smoke.
Light a fire.
Light a fire. Can you imagine having a s'mores bonfire in your apartment, your dorm room? We'll just have one here. I mean, the floor is good, right? We'll just have it here. And people come by and say, what are you doing in the science center? Saying, we're having a bonfire to make s'mores. Think that would fly? Probably not, right? Prohibited to do that. Here's an example. You can't just randomly hit somebody or punch somebody while walking a mall. Right? So things you can't incite violence. There are things that are prohibited you just can't do, right? So this idea that what can we do, what can we not do? What's encouraged and what's not encouraged? Think about where you last worked. What's the last company you worked for? Your temp job could be parents, could be a job that you worked for only a couple days, could be whatever. Think of the culture of that company. What were you allowed to do? What were you not allowed to do? Right? What was permissible, but what was not permissible? Was it a good culture? Was it a bad culture? Is it a place you could say, I could see you working here for a long time? Or was it a place where you said, man, this is toxic, I need to get out? Right? I remember when I was a bachelor, I had friends, this is an organization, work culture, but I had friends, and they played video games a lot. And they played like the original Call of Duty and what was the other one? Medal of Honor. This is what, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, almost. I'd be with their friends, and they had these sniper contests where you had to play this board, and you had to, your character would end up shooting characters and sniping them from a bridge or something like that. And whoever did it the fastest and got the most points ended up winning the competition. And they got good at this, and I got good at this. And I remember watching a TV show, and I was home by myself for The Bachelor, and the characters on the sitcom are talking, and another character who's like a nosy neighbor pops up behind the window and starts making a comment or a joke. And I thought, I could probably just shoot that person right there. And I thought, that's wrong. What's wrong with me? Because the culture had ingrained that in me being with my friends. Because that was something that they did. And so over time, you start thinking, this is not right. Or have you ever worked for a company or been around somebody who rubs off on you in a negative way, right? That culture that I'm in. What do they say? You are the culmination of your 5 best friends. So the personality of your 5 best friends are you. Is that true? Kind of scary when you think about it. That is true, right? So this culmination that we have, that culture that's there, can be either positive or negative. What's prohibited? What's acceptable? What's required? If I want to belong to that group of friends, what do I need to do? If I want to belong to a group of people, a society that likes pineapple pizza, whether it's a sin or not, I don't know. Some people love it, some people hate it. And so that's, I mean, what do I have to do? Part of that. With that, we have values. Not value that we talked about, benefit divided by cost, but the values of the organization. What do they espouse? What is the culture created by? I'm going to use the word rich. There are 4 values that are often used by different companies. Not all companies, but they often espouse these values. The first one. We're going to respect our stakeholders, respect our customers, respect our employees, respect our suppliers. Respect our competitors, we're going to respect them. We may not agree with them, but we're going to respect them. So that's one that we often will have as our values in our organization. The second one. What is integrity? Do you remember? Did we talk about integrity in this class?
Yes,
What is it?
showing up.
Just show up and follow through. Do what you say you're going to do, be what you say you're going to do. Really, that's a lot of it. You can tie in ethics in there too. Do the thing, the right thing when nobody's watching. But really, it's straightforward. It's just showing up where you say you're going to be and doing what you say you're going to do. How much easier life would be if everybody just did that? It makes you reliable. So integrity. I think I'll put my being good at what you say you're going to be good at, right? If you're an accounting firm, you try to be good at accounting. If you're not, we've got problems, right? If you have quality ice cream, you're a quality ice cream shop, like a small mom and pop shop in downtown. You have quality ice cream, you probably want to have quality ice cream, not something that's pretty cheap. And then honesty, like being honest, even when it sucks, right? Just saying what's there, being honest about what's there. All these are values. Now, there are others too, but I'm just going to focus on these 4 for now. My kids' school, their acronym is RICE, right? Respect and integrity, compassion, right? And their last one is quality. What are Franklin College's values? Do you know? Go pull your phones. Pull your phones. Go to Google, type in Franklin College values.
It'll actually come up.
Right? Franklin College facts, right? What's our mission?
At Franklin College, education fosters independent thinking, innovation, leadership, and action, forever changing, passionate, and globally connected world.
Yeah, is that true? Do we foster independent thinking? Why do I ask all these silly questions of you? Because not everybody has the same thought. Like, how do you make s'mores? Like, something as simple as that. And yet, you gotta think about that. Like, I've never thought about making s'mores before. How do I put my shoes on? I mean, everybody puts shoes on, right, at some point. Do you do the right foot first and the left foot? Do you do the left foot first and the right foot? Do you have slip-ons, like with loafers, or do you tie together? What?
You skateboard.
Yes. Is that illegal? Is that prohibited, or is that allowed? That's acceptable, right? So innovation, are we innovative? Kind of have to be. A little bit, right? How many of the classes have a YouTube channel now? Just for your classes. Maybe there are others, I don't know. Right? Leadership, is there leadership at Franklin College? Do we lead you? Do you feel you have what it takes to lead others? Where's a good Mexican restaurant in Franklin? El Pueblo. If coronavirus lifts before the end of the semester, I'll take you there for our final exam. I'll buy you chips and cheese.
I saw that Iowa looked in a line.
You said of
coronavirus.
Okay. What else is a good Mexican restaurant in Franklin? You just led us.
Huh?
You just led us. We're sitting talking about El Pueblo. Or Mi Pueblo, is that what it's called?
El Pueblo.
Yeah, right?
Blue cactus is overrated.
Blue Cactus is overrated. Did I know that? Would I want to go to Blue Cactus now because of that?
It's too expensive.
Maybe not. You're leading the class. You're leading, right? You're telling us what kind of what your recommendations are, and we're kind of taking that, fostering that. Why you do politics and you see all these signs for somebody you've never seen before, never heard of before. Because when you go to the polls, you think of that person. Like, oh, I remember that sign. I don't know anything about that person, but I remember seeing the sign. I recognize the name. So kind of the same thing, right? There's leadership at the college, I would hope so, right? Do we have diversity at the college?
Yeah.
We have some. I think we have a lot going to do with diversity. But we're getting there, right? So, are we in a globally connected world? We teach you about being globally connected. We're going to talk about mission and vision next week. If you scroll down a little bit further on the page, there are these words in capital letters. These are our values at Franklin College. Do you agree with these? Integrity. Do we have integrity as students and as faculty and staff? Do we do what we say we're going to do and then show up where we say we're going to show up? Inclusivity. Are we inclusive? Do we ever tell people you can't belong, or you don't belong here, you shouldn't be in this class? Right? Intellectual curiosity. Do you have intellectual curiosity? Do you wonder why things are the way they are? Do you question why people do what they do? Innovation and creativity. Do we have that? Community. Do we have a spirit of community on campus? As long as it's from 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. Right? On evenings and on weekends, there's not much to do here. Last semester, I had a leadership class where we tried to create a comedy night. And the college said no. This is before COVID. So we said, well, let's do that. We tried doing wine tasting too, and COVID took that out. Right? But just to do something on campus, because campus kind of gets quiet after, what, 3 o'clock, 3:30? And then on weekends, there's nothing to do if you live on campus. Right? So doing things to kind of build up a sense of community. And we got all that. Now, so all of that is here. Right? Those are our values. Do you agree with them? So those values the reason why you came to Franklin College. You're like, yes. Creativity, inclusive. How many people went to Franklin College because it was close? Right? I get a good education nearby to where I live with my family. Close. It's pretty campus. Look, it's all 5 minutes from one end to the other. And that's it. Right? But you've gone somewhere, you've gone to Ivy Tech instead. But why didn't you go to Ivy Tech? 4-year degree. Those are the values that drove you in. So let's get away from Franklin College. Why do people shop at a company? Like, why do you work or why do you support a company that you buy from? Because they're valued. I think last time I mentioned Tom's Shoes, right? Tom's Shoes ends up donating a pair of shoes for every pair of shoes that you buy. Is that something that's valuable to you? Or organization, my sister works for an organization, she works for a shelter in Dallas. And I think it's Dallas, not Houston. And she doesn't want to see dogs euthanized. So they do fundraisers in the area for her shelter so that dogs don't get euthanized. They have the funding to keep dogs alive for a while. Right? So do you participate in those fundraisers to help with that? Even though that's kind of an output, you get something out of the fundraiser, you buy something, but in turn, 20% of those funds, or 30%, I think, go towards that shelter. So that's part of what your values are. If it matches your values, you're more likely to shop there. So these are the values of what we have. Here's our respect, integrity, competency, and honesty. And our values, our culture determines what's prohibited, what's acceptable, and what's required. Now, there's one more thing I want to go over really quickly, okay? Oh, I have 5 minutes. Yeah. 5 minutes right at a time. Yeah. One more thing I want to go over, just because it's on the video, it's on YouTube. And that is, when we talk about culture, we have this. Kind of this cultural triangle. The first one I'm going to talk about is a guy named Edgar Schein, who's been popularized for organizational culture for a long time. You'll see where this is going next week. We don't have class on Friday. Friday is a leadership Johnson County day for me. You will have a quiz on Friday. First part up here is what you can see by the company. And here you have these artifacts. So what are our colors at Franklin College? Gold and blue. Why? Isn't that Michigan's colors? Not quite. Why gold and blue? What's the phrase? Bold and true, bold and true. Right? That's part of who you are. Are you bold and true? Are you honest? There's your value, right? Are you bold? Are you willing to make tough decisions and risky decisions? So there we go. So our artifacts are things that we see. This room, the colors in this room, the whiteboards behind us, on the side of us, the chairs and the tables, these are artifacts of this organization. The masks you wear, these are artifacts. These are physical things, representations of the company. So here's the second one. Norms and values. We just talked about that, right? What's acceptable? What's not acceptable? What's prohibited? What are the norms and values? Diversity, inclusion, intellectual curiosity. All these are part of these values. Is this what drove you to Franklin College? Is this what drives you every day at Franklin College? Right? How's it different from other places like Butler or IU Tech or Purdue or IU? And then here's the third one. Here are underlying assumptions. Underlying assumptions are difficult because they're underlying. We don't think about them, right? We just do. What's an assumption we all just take for granted at Franklin College?
Good education.
Good education. Right? Are you going to get a good education? Are you going to get a job by the time you graduate? Graduation is called commencement. Why? It's the beginning of your career. Your commencing is the start. Right? But commencement is the ending here. The bell ceremony. How many people participate in the bell ceremony? All right. Before this year was kind of strange because it was in Spurlock. Before this year, how many people walked down the aisle with everybody applauding? One of the strangest moments of your life. Because you're like, I don't know you people, and you're applauding for some strange reason. So why do we do it? Why do we welcome you by applauding you in? Because how do you leave? When you graduate, same way. We applaud you when you're on your way out. And so suddenly, as you're walking out with your diploma in hand and you're tapping down, 4 years of memories hit you. And you remember what it was like when you first came in and thought this applause was awful. It was awful, awkward, I don't get it. Why am I here? What's going on? And it becomes really emotional. I was here for 6 months. I had grown men hugging me and crying. I'm like, what? It's okay. It's really fine. Congratulations. Right? But there's an emotional component to that. Underlying something. Here's another one. You don't steal at Franklin College. Do you steal at Franklin College? Door is locked. Why is the door locked?
They don't trust us.
We don't trust you. We have the scanner equipment, right? We're supposed to lock the door when we're done with class. What is trust like between the faculty and the students? Do we trust you?
Probably not.
Do you feel like the college trusts you? Not even just the technology in the room, just in general. Do we trust your ideas? Right? If you win an award for it, yeah, we'll trust you. But in general, is there a lot of trust between faculty and students? Probably not. Right? It's more of a, we're going to tell you what you need to know, as opposed to, tell me what you think about it. And here's how I know this. Up until this year, maybe just a moment. Up until this year, I always said, here's 150 points on your syllabus. You tell me how you want to be graded. And you know what response I got? Often 2 semesters in a row. I don't know, you tell me. Why is that? May I ask you, how do you want to be graded? And students couldn't tell me. And so this semester, because of COVID, I just said, don't look at the discussion forums because you can interact with people that way. But initially, that's how it was. And I thought, there's a lot of trust on this campus between the faculty and the students. It's usually, we're going to tell you what you need to do. So, we'll continue from the next slide. Have a good week. I'll see you on Monday. Quiz on Friday.